everybody, welcome back to my channel and to a new video. In this one we're going to be learning how to emboss with the debossing tip on your Cricut. Let's get started. Just before we get into the main part of the video then, let's have a quick look at what sort of images we should be choosing if we want to do embossing with the debossing tool. So I'm just on a blank canvas here. The best thing to do is come over to images on the left, and if you've got a rough idea of what sort of project you're going to be working on, say maybe a card or a banner or something like that, then you can obviously decide what you want to do from that. So let's go to cards first of all. So I'm searching in the subcategory of cards and I'm going to type in happy birthday because I'm going to make a birthday card, and then it should bring up all of the relevant happy birthday images. Now, a lot of these are not going to work for this particular type of project. So what I like to do now is come down over on the left hand side to where it says layers, and then I click on the little plus here and I change that so it's just single layered project, because we don't want multiple layers in our project. Now there's a few different ones that I can see straight away that are going to work really well. These sort of cake topper ones will work really well, especially considering that they all are joined together. So this would allow us, with this particular one for instance, to put a bounding box around that, and then we could actually just cut this happy birthday out and then emboss over it, which would work really well. So these ones are going to be great. Let's have a quick look what else is going to work well. Something like this is going to be good as well, because the Happy Mother's Day and these hearts are quite chunky looking. The circles might be a bit difficult to do, but that doesn't matter too much. You could always contour those out of your image if you wanted to. The cake would probably work really well. Again, I would use a bounding box around it just to make it a little bit easier when you're weeding it. It's going to make it easier to just pull everything away. Those are the sorts of images that you're going to be looking for. Let's go over now and have a look at which design I've chosen to do my demonstration with for you today. The design that I've decided to use is this one that I've got on the screen here, and this is picked up from going into images, and then I searched in the cards subcategory, and then I just scrolled through until I found this one. There's a few different ones that are actually really pretty. Let's just let it catch up a little bit. Here they are. So there's this one is the one I've chosen. There is this one with the lines in. This one's pretty good as well, because you could put a sentiment in the centre there. That would work really well, I think. And then you've got these hearts ones and the flowers ones, which are nice as well. So that is what I'm using for this one. I will put all the image codes down below for you so you can check that out if you want to. So I have just resized this to be the size of the card that I'm going to be making. My card is a pre-cut, pre-scored card that comes with an envelope. You can buy them in packs from lots of different places. I think I got mine in Hobbycraft. So I've just resized it to be 10.5 by 14.5 centimetres, which is absolutely perfect for what I want to do. So all I need to do now is set this up ready so that it's going to do debossing using the embossing tip. So all I'm going to do is come up to offset at the top here, and you can see normally the offset is set into a positive offset, which means first of all that the dot on the drag bar here is to the right of that centre marking. And it also means that when you do the offset, it's going to be coming out of your item of your design. So with this, we want it to be on the inside of it. So we need it to be a negative offset. So what I'm going to do is just drag that down to here, and you can see that it's now bringing that offset into the centre here. But what I want to do is go further than that. So I'm actually going to type in the offset that I want. So I'm going to press minus 0.03. Now you can mess about with this and do lots of different tests and stuff if you want to, but 0.03 is the one that I've found personally that I like the most. You could do it with 0.02, and you could even do it with 0.04 if you wanted to, but I didn't find those two to be as good as 0.03. So once I've got that in there, I'll just hit apply. So here is our negative offset, and there is our original layer. So this is the one we're going to cut out. So we just want to make sure that the green layer is set to be a basic cut, and since the last update of Cricut Design Space here, we have got that information in the layers panel now, so that makes it a little bit easier to see and to notice. And you can also change it up here if needs be. Then this black layer is the one that we're going to use for our debossing / embossing. So you can see this one is set to be a basic cut, and of course we don't want it to be that. We need to change that to be a deboss. So you want to make sure that that layer is highlighted, and you can see it is by it being green in the layers panel. Then just come over to operation over here, hit the drop down triangle, and you'll get all the different options come up, and you just want to come down to the bottom and choose deboss. So click on that and it will switch that now to being a single layered deboss. We need to go through to make it. Now you can see we have got two different mats on here. So the first one is the deboss and the second one is the basic cut. So we need to make sure that we're clicking on the second one because we want to make sure that we do that first. Now all I'm going to do is just pull this design down into the sort of middle of my top of my mat. So I'm putting it almost in line with that corner 1 inch square just there, and then that is going to enable me to make sure that I am placing my second piece of card in the right place when I come to do that part of the project. So let's click through to continue. Now I need to choose my material. I'm going to pick poster board for this because it's a pretty good material match with this one when it cuts. I use it all the time. Another thing to mention is that I am using my deep point blade, not my fine point blade, because I just find it works much better in my machine. So I'm going to cut this out now and then I'll show you what to do next. The cut has finished then, and as you can see it is a lovely crisp cut. So what you'll need to do now is weed all of this, which can be a little bit time consuming. So I'm going to peel off the top part here. Now I need to grab my weeding tool and weed out all of the bits that I don't want on my embossing. Now the weeding's all done, then it's time to set up our mat ready to do our debossing with our machine. So what we want to do is grab our piece of cardstock that we're going to use. So I'm using this nice minty green coloured piece of cardstock. This is a medium cardstock and it is from Hobbycraft. It's from one of their premium range packs. So I'm just going to pop that on there. Then what I'm going to do is grab my masking tape, and I want to put masking tape around this just to make sure that it's held down properly, and we want to make sure that we bray it down again as well, because we really want to be certain that it's not going to move during the debossing process. So let's just put that on there as well. That should do it for this one. Let's just jump back into Design Space and set up our screen ready to go. Now that we're ready to do our second part of our project, which is the debossing, it's going to be running off of mat 1. So you just need to make sure that mat 1 is highlighted. Now one thing that you do need to do is make sure that you move your design down so it matches the placement of the template from before. So you can see we've got that down there on the corner of that 1 inch square. Let's just go back up here, and there it is there in a perfect place. Let's go through to continue. Now what we need to do is choose our material. So I'm going to be choosing medium cardstock for this one, and it's telling me to put the debossing tool into clamp B. This is what's going to show on your screen while the machine is doing the debossing, and it does tell you that the tool may lift and spin, so don't be shocked if that happens. It is perfectly normal. Here we go, it looks amazing. Let's peel away this masking tape. Now you can see why I placed that into the centre, so that we didn't get any masking tape on the design at all, because sometimes the tape does leave a mark on the cardstock. Let's flip the mat to get it off without damaging it. Let's just turn it over. Look at that. Now we have created an amazing embossed look without using any embossing tools at all. It's going to look so good on the front of my card, and I can't wait to show you what it looks like when that's done. So one good thing that I have thought about when it comes to this sort of design is that now what I'm going to be able to do is remove this from the mat, and I can actually keep this for a future embossing project, because I can keep the size and maybe even write the size on the back of it and keep that project in Cricut Design Space. And then next time I want to make this particular one, I'm going to be able to do it really easily, because I can just pop it down in that corner where it's meant to be, put down the cardstock again, and it's all going to work perfectly because it's all linked in together as one design. You can't do that unfortunately with this one. This is the spotty one that I was working on this morning, and you can't do it unfortunately with this one because it's all freestanding circles. But what you can do is leave this on the mat. If you've got multiple mats and you're not worried about having to use this one, you could leave it on the mat for the next time you want to use it, or you could just deboss a couple of different sheets to make sure you've got some stock on hand for yourself. So I hope that is useful to you, and that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, I would love to see you again for another one, so don't forget to subscribe, drop me any questions, comments, anything you'd like to say below, and I will come back to you as soon as I can. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon for another one. Bye!